You're listening to the Casual Swinger Podcast. As your host, we need to warn you that the material you're about to hear may be sexual or explicit in nature. This podcast is intended for an adult audience. Now, we don't expect you to act like adults. What's the fun in that?
We're a married couple living in Florida with over 13 years of experience in the lifestyle, and we take almost nothing seriously. Casual Swinger is a variety show, meaning we'll cover everything from music to events, travel, and even the occasional hilarious screw-up. Our show is about entertainment. We're not licensed professionals.
At anything.
And our stories, commentary, and guidance should not be confused with the opinions of a licensed professional.
Now that you know, let's take those pants off and get comfy.
All right, second verse, same as the first. Welcome back if you are a existing listener to Casual Swinger. If you're not an existing listener and you're finding us for the first time, welcome to Casual Swinger. My name's Mickey.
And I'm Mallory.
And we have a special guest in the room with us. Actually, I have three hot chicks in the room with me. One of them's really hairy, though, and it's not you or Kate.
No, it's not.
That's right.
G'day, guys. I'm Kate from the Wanderlust Swingers podcast.
That would be her, folks. Kate. You know, it's starting to become a thing. We're just doing shows together left and fucking right.
I know. I feel like a special guest, but actually almost like a quarterly guest. It
is. It's just like
rolling
it's just
through.
like
Yeah,
a fucking
you're becoming
thing.
a series regular.
Yeah. Oh,
It is.
yeah.
That's it. She's a series regular.
Eventually, we'll hire you full time.
No.
Wait, someone's getting paid?
Right. Who the fuck is getting paid
you
around
got
here?
jokes. You got
Yeah,
jokes.
I do. I'm here all day. Try the veal.
Oh my God. Well, hey, welcome to Casual Swinger. This is not a monthly podcast, but it is this month and it was last month. We've just been busy as fuck. What have we had going on, Mallory? Do you like?
Oh my
you want
gosh,
to tell people what happened in August?
So I can barely spell my name right now, but I showed up, so that counts for something. August is a blur. I can tell you this past weekend was incredible.
Oh my God, it was
Yeah.
just the craziest shit ever. So we host All right. So first of all, we host this thing we call Casual Swinger Week. It's at Hedonism 2 in Jamaica. It's a takeover.
We might have talked about it once or twice.
A few times, right? 600 people, get naked, get crazy, have big parties, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, we said we're going to throw this mid-year thing because for those of you that don't know, Mickey turns into a sniveling bitch sometime in the summer when he misses his people.
Hey, we all need love. And
Yeah.
when you create a family like that and the connections, there's something to miss.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to reconnect.
So like last year, I was being a sniveling bitch and Mallory's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw this big fucking party and I'm going to invite all the people we love from Hedo and we're going to invite them all to our house and we're going to have this 3-day banger. And we did it, and then all of a sudden it turned into a yearly thing, and here we are.
Yes.
So we had a
Yeah.
shitload of people here. It was awesome.
It was
It
amazing.
was probably the most incredible party. I mean, we've thrown some pretty big parties.
We have.
It was probably one of the best parties
This
we've
is
ever
probably the biggest party we've ever thrown in our own domicile. Like
Mhm.
that was incredible. I think we had at one point over 80 people inside the house.
done. It was
Which
done.
I didn't know. I thought the fire marshal was going to show up and tell us that we had
Dude,
to
I actually thought your
reduce
neighbors were going to turn up or the police for real. Not because like anyone was doing anything like crazy, but just sheer volume of like what is happening here.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky. There was one point that Mickey went outside, and I think he forgot we put blue lights, like up lights, to like light up the house because he thought the police had arrived.
Yeah, so I
Masses out
threw.
of the police.
I did. I threw myself on the sword. I'm like, oh, cops are here. I'm going to jail. See you guys later. And I literally walked outside, and I think I was the only one that wasn't naked.
Yeah, I was so proud of you because you were one of the only people that had pants on.
And you know what? And I got to say that is a reason to be proud of me because most of the time, if I didn't have pants, I'd still walk the fuck out the front door.
That's fair.
Yeah, totally true. So anyway, had an amazing. We had a 3-day banger the first night, and this is really not like the essence of the episode, but it does kind of tie in. We're going to talk about today. And by the way, this is kind of a joint. Like we're sitting at the table. I looked at Kate and I'm like, we really should do a podcast today while you're here. And we come up collectively with the three of us talking about events. And one size does not fit all. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to kind of use our little house party here as the kind of genesis for this.
Okay.
idea. So anyway, we're going to get into that here in a little bit, but the house party itself was absolutely fucking amazing. We had so much fun. Casuals came from as far away as Portland,
The Netherlands.
the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Look, Kate is liber casual.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
maybe I don't count in the
Yeah.
general ecosystem.
Yeah.
Oh yes, you always count. Don't even start that
we had
shit.
we had a lot of West Coasters, Northeast, like Canada, like you name it. They came from every
Yeah.
every imaginable corner of the earth.
Yeah.
It was wild.
The mascot came from Nova Scotia. She's a sweetheart. We love her to pieces. She came down. I mean, there was just so many people came from so far and wide and just kind of shared time together. And it was, frankly, it's what I need. And I know I need it. And it
Very much so.
filled my cup in ways I can't even begin to tell you. We have so many things to tell the casuals. And to be honest, we're going to tell the casuals inside Casual Connect.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know what Casual Connect is our community here at casualswinger.com. Our community is designed to keep our people together 365 days a year, remind them that they're friends all year long, not just 7 days. So it's not just for folks that travel with us to hedonism or come to our parties, even though if you do travel with us to hedonism too, you get a year free. So that's connectcasual.com, or you can find it through casualswinger.com. And just go over and click on events, and it'll drop you right into the community in our events page and see what's going on. But that is actually only $5 a month or $50 a year if you want to join the community. We'd love to have you. And that's how people find out about events like our Labor Day party.
Yeah, and it is. It is a community. It's definitely not a dating site.
God, no.
I mean, I'm sure people do hook up. And
Oh, my God. They did a lot of fucking in that playroom.
Yeah, extracurricular relations. I can't even speak, man. I'm like on the short struggle bus. Like, I'm not just on the struggle bus. Like, it's a special one. I think it only has 3 tires.
You're on the struggle wheelbarrow.
Yeah. But it is a lovely place to stay connected. We do try to provide, useful resources and meaningful conversation with each other. We have a women's group, men's group, and a bunch of subgroups to just,
Yeah, everything from sex toys to travel. And obviously, I mean, we are as bad as frankly, I don't think I have better friends on the planet than Kate. And in Kate's Libertine group, she has her own community for Libertine Connect. But at the same time, so many people are in both spaces. And I love that. And that's kind of ties into what we're going to talk about today when we get into it here in a couple of minutes, about how you can do a lot of different things in this world. You can go to a lot of different events. You can go to a lot of different communities. There's a lot of different ways to spend your lifestyle time, your lifestyle dollars. And I'm just happy that those people, and we get to do that with people like Kate. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Now, everything else, let's talk about Casual Swinger Week for a minute, Mel.
Let's do it.
Because this is kind of important. We've had some developments here recently with Casual Swinger Week. Nothing bad. There's just some hiccups in the booking system at Hedonism 2.
Yes, because we're...
Because we got to do it different.
Yes, we do. We have to be different. It's a little bit of an anomaly. We are a different group. We're not travel agents. We have a direct relationship with the resort. And because of that, some of the nuances there, we're unable to do online bookings right now. We have special pricing just for our group. That's one of the reasons. As well as, the extra discounts for the first responders, medical professionals, teachers, etc.
Exactly.
So because we have all those special nuances, in order to book Casual Swinger Week, you do have to call in or email. We're trying to work a landing page so that there's a form to fill out that Hedo can contact you directly to get that booked, to make it a little bit easier. But right now, online booking is off the table because we want to make sure that we're providing the... I don't know how to word this. Like
the best possible
best
experience.
best possible experience. But there's a little bit of a hiccup there.
Yeah.
So
it is a little bit of a hiccup, and it's one of those things. I think people are used to doing everything online nowadays.
Yep.
And if you do go to Hedo's website right now and you look up March 14th through the 21st, 2026, otherwise known as casualswingerweek.com, if you go take a look at that, you're going to see it looks like it's sold out. I promise it's not. We're not sold out yet. You have to call or you have to email. Now, who do you email? You email reservations@hedonism.com, or you can call the number that's right there on the website. Now, again, like Mal said, the reasons for this are a couple of reasons. The first of which is we have a pricing scenario this year called There's No Place Like Home Pricing, which means the first 5 days of your vacation are one price. The next 2 days are vastly cheaper because we have a 7-day vacation experience plan for all of you guys. So it's a 7-day vacation. Now, can you book less? Yes, you can book as little as 5, but we're going to give you a hell of a deal to book those other 2 nights. So that's one of the issues. There was another couple of little things that we had to do. So for now, email reservations@hedonism.com, or just give them a call and find your way to your new families.
Yep. And if you have questions, you can contact us.
Absolutely. And I'm sure at some point Mel will tell you how to do that. Anyway, Casual Swinger Week, we're super excited about it. It's still on, not sold out. Anyway, let's talk about the meet and greet in Sanford. That was a lot of fun.
It was hosted by a local couple. We were actually attendees. was really nice. We actually got to make some listeners, make some new friends, some of which ended up at the Labor Day party, which was really nice.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was not expecting this, by the way. We went to this meet and greet, and it was the same bar that we had the casual meet and greet
I
years
forgot
ago.
about that. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. The previous owner was not the greatest person to work with. We had so many struggles, and we did it it was still fairly cold outside. And what was cool about this bar is they had a pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the pool wasn't really usable because of the time of year. And we were a little bit novice in the space, and we didn't think it was a gentleman's agreement, right? So we didn't like have a contract or F&B minimum, like, but there were like so many issues when we got
Oh,
there,
it was awful.
and it was bad. And they've actually done renovations, and it looked really good, and the staff was really good.
It was amazing.
When we realized where we were going, we actually had a little apprehension about what to expect from the place.
So
And when we
much.
got there, and we're like, whoa, this is a totally different experience.
I
Totally different
couldn't believe it.
skin.
I couldn't believe it. Okay, so we tried. So first of all, we picked a terrible time to have ours, right? Because I think we did it in like March. And in Florida, March can be summer or it can be winter. Matter of fact, it can be summer or winter one day to the next. You just don't know. And that's exactly what happened to us. We had this date for a pool party in like February or March. I don't remember when we did it. But what I can tell you is it was like 36 degrees. Once the sun went down, it was cold as hell. So nobody wanted to get in the pool. These guys, the bar owners at the time, were supposed to provide a DJ. They were supposed to provide door security. They were supposed to do all this stuff. They never did it. We learned so much about doing a bar meet and greet.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go to this one at the very same location that's been sold. Like you said, they put a shit ton of money into it.
Mm-hmm.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
And
they did a great job.
there were hundreds of people there, and it was amazing. So I think that we learned a lot, and I think we could probably do it.
We did,
better.
and the people that put them on did a great job. It was actually their first,
Very first ever.
and I was so impressed. Like they really had a really good grasp on the concept, the execution. They were very visible and present, which is half the struggles of hosting an event is being visible and accessible.
Yeah, and you're right.
So-
They did a really good job of like kind of moving between the crowds and checking in on people, and I really appreciated that. And I think for bar meet and greets, which again, this is going to tie into what we talk about here in a little bit, but I think that was just a phenomenal way for them to do that. And here in Central Florida, there's pretty much one game in town, right? It's the Lifestyle Club that's in Central Florida, and if you don't go to that, there's not a lot for you to do.
Yeah, that's kind of like the nucleus of the scene here. Yeah,
Yeah, so
and it does change the perception. Like, and we're gonna get into this and like
Mhm.
what that's like.
Yeah, so we're going to talk
From
about
an
that here in a
event.
few minutes, but I think they did a fantastic job. We definitely picked up some new casuals while we were there. We gave away a $250 gift card to casualswingerweek.com.
Yes, we did.
So those guys, can't wait to meet them. Can't wait for the casuals to meet them. And, it's just, I think that kind of stuff is kind of what we're trying to focus on. We're trying to stay local. Maybe if we do events like going to X Club in Toronto, which, by the way, for casualswingerweek.com, X Club is coming with us this year. So X Club is bringing a bunch of their folks with us. You're going to meet a bunch of new folks. If you've never been to X Club in Toronto, one of our favorite lifestyle clubs anywhere in North America, Jake is the owner. If you don't meet him, you need to do that because he's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't want to like spoil the next segment, but it's definitely my favorite club,
Yeah, it's really, really
Like-
cool.
Hands down.
I think we're giving people like the best preview of what this episode is going to be about. But anyway, that's what we've been up to. We had a big ass house party. We went to a cool meet and greet. And of course, we love the X Club. But in the meantime, we're going to come back in a couple of minutes with the beautiful Kate from Wanderlust Swingers, who's sitting over there, I don't know, playing with her eyebrows or doing something right now. What is she doing? No? Just hanging out?
Chewing on my fingernails.
Chewing on her-
Yeah, he's really good at that. Like calling you out, and like, what the fuck, dude?
Wait, you talking to me?
You just took all the air out of the room, and now you want me to talk?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, then. We'll be back in just a hot second, and we're going to get into exactly what the shit we're talking about today. One size does not fit all. You're listening to Casual Swinger.
And we're back. Thank you for listening to Casual Swinger. I'm one of your hosts, Mallory, and I'm also here with Mickey and the beautiful Kate from Wanderlust Swingers.
Hello again.
And we're going to talk about the different types of events in the lifestyle. Now, it's been asked quite frequently, especially from people that might be newer to the scene, exactly what types of events are out there, what to expect, what to invest in, how we would rate them. So we're going to introduce the topic and discuss it. And I think all of us are going to have possibly different opinions on all of the available events that are out there. So we're going to outline those.
Yeah, there's so many these days. Like, I think when we first started over 10 years ago, you had the occasional maybe house party, you might have had a club. Meet and mingles weren't really a huge thing back then,
Yeah,
whereas
even
now there's so many different types of events.
right. I remember when we first started and where we lived, the concept of like a like multi-night, like more than one, a hotel takeover was still very new to us and in that area.
Yep.
Well, and I
So,
think there was a lot of terror because we were in the DC area. And so we had friction parties, which were kind of up in Baltimore. But there was actually a group in the Northern Virginia area in Tyson's Corner that had their hotel raided by the police.
Mm.
And so everyone was terrified in
Yeah.
Northern Virginia to do anything for the longest time. Now, you got to be old as dirt to remember when this happened. I think it was Lifestyle Lounge. It was Lifestyle Lounge that it happened to, which doesn't even exist anymore, I don't think. But it was absolutely crazy that they got. And that's just, I think, part of the fear that when it comes to some of these events, whether house parties or hotels or whatever. I know there was one in, I think, LA last year or the year before that some friends of ours, the
yeah,
police raided.
that's true. That's true. Yeah,
And it made the news.
it did.
It made the
national
fucking news.
Yeah, there was that one. There was also a death at another hotel takeover just this last New Year's, and that made the news as well. But yeah, I think one of the most common questions is how do we meet people in real life? Now, this is obviously stepping completely away from dating sites.
Yep.
How do we meet people? Where do we go? What do we do? What's going to be good, right for us? And the interesting thing about the answer to that question is I always float it back to them and I'm like, well, who are you?
Yes.
Because if you're a certain type of person, you're going to thrive in one environment and not thrive in the other, which is really interesting with the three of us in the room because I think that we're going to probably have some very differing opinions. Do you want to start with meet and greets first?
So you're gonna want to look at. We're gonna talk about this a lot. The branding, right? What they're advertising it to be. So meet and greet is usually general public. So it could be a private area in a regular restaurant, bar, lounge, club. That maybe they have cordoned out space. This is generally a very PG style event. Pants on.
Low
Op-
barrier to entry.
Yep. Sometimes it's advertised on the dating sites. That's usually where you see them. Sometimes it's a private event that you get invited to only, which usually is a smaller format. If it's on the dating sites, it could be a little bit larger, but it's an opportunity to mingle, meet, and just have some one-on-one time that with some people, that you can see on the dating sites. Maybe you checked out the profile. Maybe you've had conversation, maybe not. But it's I guess you could equate it to like a more, oh God, the words are escaping me. I'm really at a deficit right now.
Our rager this weekend really
Dude,
killed you,
it
didn't
killed me. Like my tank is almost empty.
it? Oh, poor Mel.
So the meet and greets, though, they're very nice because they're low pressure, right? No one has an expectation of sex on the same night or anything like that. But there could be ample opportunity to make connection there.
Yep.
I like that. So you were on your way to, they're low pressure because you don't have to necessarily invest too far ahead of time. So you don't have, let's say, $5,000 that you've put
Right.
out.
The barrier of entry is usually a very low
You just sign
threshold.
up.
There's usually a cover charge,
Yeah.
right? Because the
But
person
you don't
put
pay it till you get there.
right.
Some
In some
cases.
cases, in some cases, they do require you to pay ahead of
Yeah.
time. Which, if it were me, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's a good thought, though, because it's free.
if it's free, here's something to think about. In the event space, even if it's paid for, about 10% of people will have to cancel at a minimum. That's easy right off the top. If it's not paid,
That's right.
almost half the people don't show up. So if it says
More.
200 people are going, if you don't have to pay ahead of time, it's probably going to be about half that.
Yeah, and a red flag, actually, a lot of the dating sites allow you to RSVP to an event even if you haven't purchased a ticket. Now, the reason somebody might do that with zero intention of going is visibility of their profile.
And it
So
happens a lot.
if you look, people might be on
I
the
never
RSVP.
thought to do that.
Yeah, so that'd be about 200 people on my Texas list right now that have
Uh-huh.
RSVP'd that aren't coming to my event. And they do it so when people are listed and they're traveling in, they get higher visibility and a potential for somebody to reach out and DM them and be like, hey. And then they're like, no, we're not going, but also like come over our house on Thursday. So just keep in mind, if you do see an RSVP list, like that'd be a red flag. It's not necessarily going to be 100%. Definitely those people are going to be ticketed and physically be on site.
Good.
It happens a lot. Now, the other thing that you do that we see people doing a lot, and we've touched on this in some of our episodes about, remember the creator episode we did about whether the creators are ruining the lifestyle? So creators will put themselves their RSVP on lists just for visibility to
Wow.
look for collabs. Yeah, I've seen it a shitload here in Orlando. I see it all the time.
All right. So how about everyone has good etiquette and let's just.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing of it is too, though,
Let's-
they might just be like, hey, if we're free, we're going to fucking go. And maybe on Tuesday, our kid got the shits. Our dog ate a rabbit and is not okay because it's coughing up bones.
It would
like,
be really weird
whatever.
if the kids ate the rabbit.
The kids ate the rabbit, the dog got the shits. Who knows? You know, you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So people put themselves on the list. Maybe they forgot about it. And they're like, oh, fuck, it's September 8th. I didn't know that was what we were going to do this weekend.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I see a lot. The guys they put the couple on the list, but forget to talk to their wives about it. And then when they get around to talking to their wives about it, they're like, oh, you remember that's your daughter's birthday. I'm not talking about me right now, I swear. But it absolutely happens. Like when people go, when are you supposed to do that? Or we're supposed to go to this thing. We were talking about doing this thing. No, we weren't. We have this other thing to do. So meet and greets can be very hit or miss because of calendars, because of how much people pay to get in. And if people pay, there's a higher chance they'll go.
Mhm.
We went to a wonderful meet and greet. That meet and greet had over 400 people on the RSVP list.
Yeah.
At the actual meet and greet, maybe $1.25.
Yeah, but now it makes sense with Kate's information here.
Yeah.
They did require a door entry fee,
Yeah.
and I think you paid a little less ahead of time than you
Little
would
bit.
at the door.
Yeah.
And the RSVPs were very, very high. It was still a very good turnout, but I want to say it was about 35 to 40% of that total at best.
Yeah, but let me say this. It was a fucking great meet and greet.
Still a great meet and
They
greet.
did
Yep.
a great job.
Yep.
And if they're listening right now, we love you guys. You did a fucking great job. And we're saying it open. But there's another meet and greet group here in Orlando called N&N that
Mhm.
also do a great job. They've
And
been doing it for years.
They've been doing it, very long time. Mhm.
Super long time. And they actually feed their people to a local lifestyle club. So they get anybody that goes to their meet and greet they get a discount that night to go to a local lifestyle club. So that's another trick. Not necessarily, I'm not saying a trick, but another like a hook for
Potential
some meet and greets.
potential benefit. There could be an added value to that. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
a
and that's
discount.
not
Yeah.
unique to Orlando, right?
Mhm.
Kate, do you see that anywhere else in the country?
Yeah, I was about to mention that. So we actually, our meet and greets back in Australia many years ago, when we
Cough,
first
cough.
started in the lifestyle, there weren't many actually. And there was one occasional meet and greet, and that was actually put on by the club. And they would do it offsite. They would still do it at a bar. So again, there's kind of this concept of a lower pressure environment because in most of those instances, it's a vanilla bar, as you just said, Mallory. So sex is off the table physically at the venue, right? People
Mhm.
may go and do whatever they're doing in their private space. But the club would put that on as a meet and greet at a bar. And if you chose to then go to the club afterwards, they'd give you like a $30 discount or whatever it looked like. And the club would put that on. So yeah, we've seen a little bit of that happening. But meet and greets in general, I think they're a good first step. I think it's a great environment for new people especially to see that, hey, these are just normal, regular humans that just happen to have an extracurricular bedroom kink and they're not scary, weirdo people. So I think meet and greets are a great opportunity. I will say, however, that, yeah, there are some cons, and that can be the group owners. It can be poorly run. Maybe the bar doesn't even know these people are turning up. There are some
Yeah, that's
cons.
true. We've actually been to a meet and greet where we showed up and the bar had no idea that anyone was meeting there. This is years and years ago. It was in Northern Virginia. And the bar was very unhappy and pretty much kicked the group out at one point
Yeah.
because
yeah.
it was just too overwhelming.
They literally said, wait a minute, you guys are all together and you're all what?
Yeah.
Swingers? Get the fuck out of
And
here.
I think some of the
Yeah.
cons too is, again, if you are in a public space, the event owner or the coordinator, whoever it is, really does need to enforce and recode those vanilla rules, because what I have seen at some meet and greets is that people get some liquor in them.
Oh, yeah,
They
get all
get too
spicy.
rowdy. They get too
Yeah.
spicy. They start like bringing their tits out, showing their nipples. And then it's like, okay, you're still in a public space. And so
Yeah.
unfortunately that can kind of leave a bad taste in the bars.
Yeah, we did our bar crawl this weekend on Friday night.
Yeah.
And one of the FAQs I included in the group is like, hey, FYI, we live here.
Yeah.
Also, this is a vanilla bar. Let's all mind our persons
Yep.
because we want to be invited back.
Exactly.
I love that you
Yeah.
did that, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that you did that so much. I read what you wrote, and I'm like, my wife is so much smarter than me, because my plan was to do what I ended up doing anyway, which was every time I met somebody, I said, what do you think of where we live?
Mhm.
And that was my way of reminding them that this is the town
I don't
we
trust
live in.
people that much.
I know you don't. I know you don't trust me that much. and you shouldn't because I'm completely stupid.
I also was like, my dog lives here, you don't, so you're either gonna love her or get out.
That's right. Either love the dog or don't. And the
Yeah.
casual dog had the best fucking weekend of her life, by the way. So we're gonna get to that house party conversation, but I think you guys are both incredibly right about this. And meet and greets are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful intro. But I have a question for the two of you about meet and greets in particular. As a woman, are meet and greets one of those places where you can be expected that there is a convenient or somehow reasonable transition to play? And if it is, how the hell do you do it? What works? Because you guys are ladies. What works for you if somebody wants to transition to play at a meet and greet, which you can't do it at a meet and greet? How do you do it?
I really think it depends on like if you're going to a super local one. So we travel a lot, for meet and greets. So for us, the likelihood that we're going to have a hotel nearby is really high. Whereas if you go to a really, really local regional one, most people might be driving, taxiing, Ubering, they've got a house nearby, what have you. Unless it's something like a bigger scale meet and greet where a lot of people are at the same hotel, I think it is very difficult to transition because now all of a sudden what you're doing is you're taking a low pressure environment and say you do live locally and then you're inviting me back to your house so you can murder me in your fucking basement. So I think that is...
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
Have you seen my basement?
I know. I really hope you don't have one under this house because that...
Yeah.
But I think that would be a little bit more jarring. So I think when it's worked for us, definitely at a meet and greet like that, has been when either there are a lot of other people from out of town with hotel rooms or we ourselves would have a hotel room.
Yeah. I think access because we live locally, but I don't know that my next step would be inviting someone to my Fortress of Solitude.
Or you going back to theirs.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know that I would have that established comfort level in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
And I very rarely meet somebody for the first time. I'm like, yeah, that. But if I did, the transition would be to get a hotel room or if they had one, I would maybe consider that. When you think about it though, it's the same person. So like, are you really any safer?
There's something, I don't know, there's something psychological about the difference between someone's personal space.
I'm in the same boat. I don't know why.
Access to knives? I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got a butter knife in the hotel room. That's all they can do there. But you're right. What I might do is if I didn't already have a hotel room, I might then move to getting a hotel room.
And I would probably own that. Like I would buy the hotel room just to have a concept of control.
Yep, which we've both done before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you guys are all talking about like knives and basements, and all I'm seeing is misery and the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get my shit smashed by some crazy lady with a sledgehammer.
I saw Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, it puts the lotion on its skin.
Yeah. I'd fuck me.
I would too. Anyway, so meet and greets are a great way to start, but from meet and greets, where do we go from there? Like, because I mean, obviously meet and greets are a great intro, but what comes after meet and greets, right? So how about house parties? We just had one of those.
That's interesting. I think our house party is a little different. I think we had a different vibe to the house parties we've been accustomed to joining. My experience outside of this one, house parties are definitely more intimate, almost invite only, and or if it's public, it's still more of an opportunity for that DTF down to fuck, more transactional environment.
Yeah, it's definitely more intimate than a swingers club.
Oh, very much so, because we said this, mics off. You said it's a what?
I don't remember. I've got 11 concussions.
You said the first thing they show us is all the places you can fuck.
Oh, that's
when you
true.
go to
I
a
did
house
say
party
that.
where you can and can't fuck. Like
I did say that.
That's usually when you go on the tour. Don't fuck here. You can fuck there.
Yep.
Yeah, but you know what? Something else that came to mind after we talked about that, and I was like, I should probably save that for the show. And I thought I was going to forget it, and I didn't. I'm so proud of myself right now, which is our playroom, which I'm very proud of our playroom.
I do love that space.
I'm very proud of our playroom.
I do. Fun fact. Can I call myself out
Please
for a second? I share so much about our lives. I have multiple podcasts. I do one with Kate. I do one with you. I have one on my own. We have this community, and I'm not one to generally naturally share all of myself.
I share all my toys. You don't.
I share all of my toys upstairs, the playroom, whatnot. And we got a milking table recently, and we got to use it one time. And I looked at you, and I was almost embarrassed to ask this. I was like, "Hey, we're having this house party, but also, like, I don't want to share this toy this time. Is that okay?" And you're like, 100%.
100%.
So, FYI, the table everyone took the the towels and the blankets and like the lube and stuff around.
Was
That
that
was
milking
actually the
table?
milking table
It's so
that we
fucking
hid
funny.
from everybody.
People were setting their drinks on it. People were like putting their towels on it. Like they thought that was this because last year
It looks
we
like a
had
massage table kind
Joke's
of.
on you, though. It was actually filled with Mickey's cum.
Yeah,
It was. There was just cum everywhere, gallons and gallons.
The
of
first
Mickey
time
cum.
we used it, 100%.
Oh my God! Let me tell you something about a milking table.
Don't.
I don't know if it's the milking table
Poor
or
Kate.
if you need a Mallory, but oh my God, I laid on this thing and I'm like, well, this is so comfy. My balls have this convenient hole and I can just put it in and I just lay here. And next thing I know, all of a sudden there's all this action happening. And then like my tablet is here and she's like, here, watch me with this boy I hooked up with. And I'm sitting here watching my wife hook up with this boy. And then next thing I know, I'm getting this blowjob and I'm like, all of a sudden my soul left me and she pops up from the side of the table and goes, are you okay? Because I hadn't breathed, I guess, since Tuesday.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. Milking tables are awesome.
I was very concerned. Also, dicks look tremendous through this hole because that's all you can see and it's like very in your face. So it's very flattering to the male form.
Yeah, so total side quest, but milking tables are the shit.
Anyway.
So we have a milking table, but it was not part of the casual playroom.
Yeah.
But, the reason I bring this up is I'm really proud of our playroom. And certain, house parties might have a playroom. And it's like the first thing they want to fucking show you is this is where you can go have sex. Here's a bedroom, here's a bedroom, here's a bedroom, here's a group room. This is a theme room. Here's where the swing is. And you know what the thing sometimes that I worry about, and we've been to some really good house parties, and I will actually name one by name here in Central Florida, Doodles Deviants. They're friends of ours. They're nice people. What I love that they did is they showed us where our booze goes, where we can get ice, where we can get help if we need it. All came before sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated that from them. And it kind of told me if I ever have my own party, I want to make sure we do that.
Yeah, they actually had a really good demarcation point between social areas and sex areas.
Yeah.
And they made that very, very clear. This is the social side and this is the sex side. If you go in here, please don't be offended. There will be people having sex. Here are where the bathrooms, clean up, And if you're on this side, no sex, please respect those rules. And this is the social area, just to kind of give it like a very binary black and white justification, which was perfect because humans, especially when they've been drinking or maybe they're a little nervous, they need very clear, concise instruction.
They really did. And I tell you, we went to 2 parties there, and not that because we don't love them, just so we don't have time. But one of them...
We're never home.
Yeah, one of them, they said, if the door is open, don't shut it. No shut doors here. And then the next time we went back, they said, if the door's shut, don't open it.
Mm-hmm.
So there were different instructions for different parties based on what they were doing. And I really thought that was cool, that they were being very clear and to communicate what their expectations for the inside of that party was. What's your experience with house parties been like?
Dude, I have some corkers. I've been sitting here very patiently waiting to talk about
You have
house parties.
quokkas? Like the little smiley, like
No.
marsupial rodents?
Low-key wish, but
Okay, just
no.
checking.
House parties, let's just go back to like bear tags here. House parties are basically where people will be invited into someone's home. Like it is as it sounds. You go to a house party, more often than not, there's music playing. More often than not, there are areas for sex. And more often than not, they are kind of more intimate spaces than you might see at a club or a meet and greet. But we have been to house parties that are quite large. We went to a house party over 10 years ago. It was one of the first ones we have been to. And it was a horrific experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrific.
Sorry, I don't know why I laugh when you said something bad.
Sorry,
Because we laugh at Kate's misfortune. It's what we do. We're horrible
Sorry.
people.
I get
Such
all
a
this
jerk.
to say there are pros and cons to each of the different things we're going to talk about, whether it's the meet and mingle. We just spoke about house parties, clubs, what have you. There's always going to be good stuff and negative stuff, right? This particular house party did charge. Some do come with a cover fee. I think it was like $25. It wasn't too expensive. You had to bring your own alcohol. That's all fine. And during the house party, however, there really wasn't a lot of rules and boundaries and explanation. And so to your earlier point, there were people having sex on the couch as we walked in. And people were dressed weirdly and not really had made any kind of effort. And we were turning up like really well dressed. So there wasn't a lot of expectations and understanding of what this house party would detail. And at that point, we weren't aware that some house parties truly are a more DTF environment, down to fuck environment. And so we were going with the, I guess, misunderstanding that there would be a social element and a potential play element should we wish to do that. What we found out was that people were very much, we're inviting you because you come in the door and maybe there's like a 20 minutes to 30 minutes and then you have to fuck. And
Yeah, wait. You have to fuck?
you have to fuck. And so there are these types of parties out there, and that's why they're not all the same.
What
It's-
in the Game of
yeah.
Thrones do you do for fun? For fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really important
well-
to look at what these expectations are, who the hosts are, because the hosts down, as we know, whether it's a business, an organization, top down matters.
Yeah.
And that's
Wow.
going to be your experience.
Yeah, little to no information. I would definitely question level of expectation. If somebody's hosting a party and you don't have too many details, and the nomenclature matters. We have gotten invites and have seen events, house parties and whatnot, that the nomenclature matters. And you've said this before. If they're like slutty holes and whores night,
I
like
hate that.
I get that might be somebody's bag, but it does also advertise what the expectation might be. And I
100%.
can tell you, probably not my jam.
And this is why it's important to understand, like, if you are a down to fuck couple and that is what you want, skip the meet and mingle we just discussed. Go straight
exactly.
to the house party that is advertising.
Mhm.
There is an expectation to play.
Yep.
Like if
There
that
you
is
go.
if that's your jam in the lifestyle, fill your boots with cum. But that would be where you could say, okay, I'm going to forego I'm going to forego the meet and greet. I'm going to go instead to the down to fuck house party.
Mhm.
So understanding those expectations is
Yep.
very, very important.
Mal, you're right. We actually got a direct invite from the host, and I'm not begrudging them. I just said, hey, guys, I thank you for the invite.
Yeah, but
Thank you. But I think, and I'm paraphrasing, but I think the name of the invite was like cum guzzling whores and their stretched whore throats or something. It was like,
yeah.
and if I just,
Gaping assholes anonymous.
yeah, it just takes everything inside, like coils my bones to hear women spoken about that way. Because when you want to be objectified, I want to make you the dirtiest whore I know.
Mhm.
But there's a switch that flips,
So
and then
it's
you're my person,
consent.
and I'll
Yeah.
end somebody for treating
Yeah.
you that way. And I just can't title an event. I just can't. I don't want to go to it. I don't want to be a part of
Right.
it. And that's me. That's just me.
Right.
But if you dig it, man, fuck yeah, rock on. I dig that they at least announce it that way. They call it that. They
Yep.
call it what it is.
Agree.
They're honest about it. Cool. But and you know what? I do love when I said, hey guys, thank you, but that's not our style and that's not how I like to treat people. They said, okay, cool. You guys take care. That was the right answer.
Yeah.
100%.
That was
And that's the way
fucking
they
perfect.
approach it.
It was
They
a
killed
great
it.
answer.
Yep.
I have a question for you both. When new people come on a dating site in a highly populated area, it's not uncommon for them to be like, oh, there's fresh meat, right?
Yeah.
If you're if you're a newbie and you join a dating site and within the first like 24 to 48 hours you're getting invited to a private house party, is that red flag, green flag? What do you think?
Oh shit.
I don't think they know any better if they're
No,
brand new.
I'm
for,
no,
for
I'm-
the person inviting them.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, having cute face, all the experience and the lifestyle, I personally wouldn't invite somebody new because we live in a different airspace. If we're doing a house party, you don't know enough about what you need, what you want, the circumstances to engage at a level that you're going to be okay. I
Yeah.
would not invite somebody new. So for me, that would be a red flag.
Okay.
And I gotta agree with Mallory. However, I'm going to use a different context.
But a
So-
meet and greet, yes.
Yeah, meet and greet,
Meet and greet, yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Meet and greet, absolutely. Bar crawl, absolutely, because it's public. It's out. It's a little.
Yeah. Low
It's a little
pressure.
different.
Yeah.
But connectcasual.com, our community.
Mm-hmm.
We meet a lot of folks. I give away a lot of free 3-month memberships just to get people to check it out and see if this family suits them and how we do things suits them. At a house party, that's different. That's into our home.
Yeah.
That's into our
That's-
space. That's
yeah.
into the family that has a level of expectation for how each other are going to be treated, not just for how we,
Yeah.
but how safe, how seen, how heard am I going to be? All right. And so newbies don't necessarily know that. Now, the other thing that's a challenge for that for me is what sort of expectation are we creating? If I invite this newbie to a, sluts and hoes, stretch your throat, gagging horrors, like what, I don't know what the name of the meet and greet was, but what sort of impression am I creating for them, for the lifestyle? What if they are so brand new that they're literally just had this fantasy about maybe we could meet another couple and have sex in the same room and watch each other. And then what they found is Caligula. Like, it's scary.
Yeah, but you have a different level of like social responsibility than other people might have too.
Maybe I do. So for me, what I say is meet and greets, yay. house parties, a brand newbie, like it's our second week in the lifestyle and we can't wait to
Yeah.
show up and take something in the
I would
butt.
at least, my
No.
advice would be ask questions.
Yeah, ask questions.
So I think it's a huge red flag
Yeah.
because I think what can happen,
It seems predatory a little bit.
it does, because
Yeah.
what can happen is if you got somebody who's fresh meat, right? Maybe this particular couple that runs a house parties, they cycle through a lot of people. Maybe they got their regulars, like let's call it 10 different people are their regulars. They're all down to fuck. They have to cycle through new people because eventually their behavior, which might be negative, is recognized and those new people cycle out.
Well, that's a fucking grinder,
And so
Kate.
sometimes when you're on that site and if you get invited to a house party, to your point, Mallory, maybe do a bit of research because it is possible that you are cycling through the meat grinder
Yeah.
because you're new and they want to get a hold of you first before you realize
Yeah.
maybe that's a bit of a red flag.
Oh my God, does that
House
really
party.
happen? That's,
Yes.
that's horrific.
Theoretically, I've not been a part of that, but I can see it, the propensity for that to happen. I can't point at anyone or anything that I know it's happened, but that seems logical.
Yeah.
But we always say inspect what you expect. So if you don't do some of the legwork, don't ask the questions, because my problem with some of the events is there's not enough information to tell me
Right.
exactly what I know what a hotel takeover is, but what are you providing? Because your hotel takeover may be different than this person's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so for no shock to anybody whatsoever, my wife is smarter than me. I love what you just said about inspect what you expect, but also ask fucking questions. Ask, what should I expect from this party?
Mhm.
Because, you know, we had at our party a couple that we had met at a meet and greet that we went to in Sanford.
Yeah, that's true.
And they
Mhm.
were amazing and they were sexy as fuck and they were friendly and smart and they had all these amazing things going for them. But I still said, hey, here's what you can expect from casual, that you're about to meet a family
Yeah.
that is open.
Yeah.
And that sex is on the table if you want it, and there's a place you can have it. But there's all, and I gave him this whole lay of the land. And he actually said to me, I'm worried that I'm going to be handed a robe and Kool-Aid when I get there. He was afraid he was joining a cult. And I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I've heard. in
That's
forever,
probably not
but
the first time you've heard that. Let's
Probably
be
not.
honest.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I love that. And I love that you put it that way. You really should ask questions if you don't know.
You do have to have some personal accountability there.
Yep.
So if you walk into a place and haven't had any questions and walk in and you're a little shocked,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so just for the record here, I'm enjoying this conversation because I think there's a lot of really quality pieces to this, but it is going to take a while. So let's switch gears a little bit. Clubs are next.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
clubs are their own like
Oh,
entire
yeah.
bag of cats crazy.
Yep.
Because there's so many different types, so many different rules. Because you, Kate, Wanderlust is worldwide.
Yeah, I think
And-
we've been to like over 40 clubs now in over 27 countries or something like that.
Jesus Christ, you whore.
Yep.
There it is, my friend Kate. This
Yeah. Yeah, the new horror, the Explorer.
yeah, the new whore. So clubs themselves, I think a lot of people start with clubs, don't they, Kate? I mean, a lot of people are like,
Mhm.
let's go to a swinger club and see what happens.
Yeah.
or
I-
sex club.
Sex club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sex club.
Yeah, I think it is because I mean, if you are looking for information, you go on Google. One of the things you're going to pull up most probably is a club before a dating site, because these meet and mingles that we just spoke about, these house parties we just spoke about, are on the dating sites or advertised friend through friends. They're not just up on Google because somebody has their own website. So clubs are definitely something that people go to. And hey, if you're lucky enough to have more than one swingers club in your city, amazing. Do research, find out, because again, each swingers club can have its own vibe, its own feeling.
Mhm.
People that go there, what they're into, are they more DTF? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And every club seems to have a little bit of a different vibe. Some of them are all one level where you might walk past the playrooms to get to the dance floor.
Yep.
Right. And this is certainly not me bagging on it because some people that I actually think are lovely own it. In Vegas, there's a club where you literally walk past playrooms to get to the dance floor. It's in Vegas. It happens.
Mhm.
And then you go to someplace like Taboo, they're
Mhm.
downstairs in the basement.
Yep.
You go to X
Or-
Club and they're an entirely different section of the building.
Or sometimes they have nights where play opens after midnight, or there's an expectation of you to get down to lingerie or nude
That's
at some point in the
yeah.
evening. Like there's a lot of nuances and different, levels of expectation that might happen in these environments. I call it a little bit of a pendulum swing.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Kate, is that a European thing that,
Yeah,
that you're
100%.
expected to like get naked at 11 o'clock or whatever?
Yeah,
Like,
it truly, truly is. Some clubs around the world will have areas like you mentioned X Club, so I'll just use that as an example. They have two different sides, and one side is lingerie required, one side is clothing optional at the X Club in particular. And a lot of clubs will do this. They'll say, hey, this particular area, you have to be
At least
dressed
in
in
lingerie.
this way. The difference to that is European clubs where they'll say at this time of the night, 10:30, 11 p.m., everybody, regardless of gender, regardless of size, age, what have you, everybody has to get dressed down. Doesn't matter if you're in the dance floor, doesn't matter if you're in the restaurant, in the bar, or in the playroom area, you have to be dressed down. And yes, it is 100% European. I thought I'd hate it. I like it. So that was
All right, so tell us why. You can't just say you like it because, I don't know
I
why.
think it actually does start to move things into the more sensual, sexy realm. I think for people that are maybe more social, swinging, or maybe find it difficult to take things to the next level, or people that actually just really like that visual stimuli, I think it does create that environment and everybody is on the same level, right? There's nobody that's like feeling stuck out.
I think I would be into too, as long as I knew ahead of time what to expect, right?
Yeah.
Like as long as I knew going into that, I like when we're on the same level. Something I like about Hito, or when we go to like a resort, like clothing optional area. If there's a nude requirement, at least you're all going to be the same. And there's something like having that universal requisite
Yep.
and expectation. I'm totally fucking down with. So I think I would actually enjoy that if I was exposed to it. I'm typically not a club person.
Yeah, at
But-
first I was like, you didn't tell me what to do. And then I was like, actually, no, this is
Fucking
great.
same.
Yeah, this is quite good. Yeah, I know.
Anarchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so I'm actually going to give a dissent on this one, which is probably not unusual. I don't know that anybody's shocked by it. But I personally have gone through a weight loss journey. Some of you know that, some of you don't. I was over 380 pounds at one point. I was huge. And to go to a place like that would have been horrifying for me.
Yeah.
To say that I have to now expose myself in a way where maybe I was going to sit in a corner and hope that no one asked me to do that at some point in my
Right.
life. Today, I'd be like, yeah, I'm naked. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it's different. So for me, remembering the person I used to be, and honestly, even today, I think that would actually scare me a little bit.
It can be jarring for people. I used to think that, again, like, oh, that's, forcing somebody to be clothing optional, forcing somebody to dress down kind of removes their ability to consent to that, right? And then there's a part of me now where I'm like, hey, that's what happens at 11. Like, if you don't like it, get there at 9, do your thing, enjoy the club, and then, leave by 11. But yes, to answer your question, though, it is a very, very European style and way. What I will say, though, is, again, if everybody's level set and there's different body shapes, sizes, whatever in there, then everybody's at that baseline. But it does take courage, and it takes a bit of confidence, and it takes sometimes just a bit of being ballsy and just saying fuck it and doing it. But yeah, for sure it is a little bit jarring on that first time.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you, the one thing I remember and I'll never forget about being a fat guy is you always look for somebody fatter than you. And as long as somebody else there is, you're good.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you look around and go, fuck, it's me. And for me, I'm not bagging on anybody out there that is a person of size. Whatever you are in your life, I love you just the way you are. All right. But for me, when I was that person, I looked around and I was that guy. The last thing I wanted to hear was take your shirt off, Mickey. Because I'm like, all right, I need 3 people and all of you can use it as a tent later if you need shelter. And that's just how I felt. And so for that sort of thing, I think for those people, I think it is important at least that they know that, and this is where hosts come in. I think clubs that host make a big difference.
Yes.
Or hosts at a club make all the difference. In a place like that, hosts to say, we accept all bodies here. We accept everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. We accept everyone. Everyone has a place here. Everyone has a home here. That's an important thing. And I've never been to a European lifestyle club, and I want to change that.
Yeah, I know. I think next time you guys come out, I'll have to harass you into it. Mallory, though, you said you're not a club person. I got to know one pro and one con of a swingers club that you think people need to know about.
So what I love about clubs is it's not necessarily down to fuck. Like environment, it's not super high pressure. You have opportunity or availability to have opportunity. There's an opportunity to meet lots of people all in one night. You have access to potentially on-site play, right? Nudity, lingerie, sexual innuendo. But what I don't like about clubs, almost universally speaking, is it's like nonverbal communication is a key part of those interactions because there's music and a dance floor. And I fucking love dancing, but I love dancing. So dancing and communicating are very hard and challenging for me in those environments because I don't know, pansexual, demisexual, where I don't necessarily have a physical archetype. So I can't point at someone. I can say that person looks attractive, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to key in on them because of their looks
Yeah.
and go after that. I have to have a full body of work to really invest and find them sexy. And so it makes it really hard to have conversation, and not many clubs have conversational areas.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
very, very few that I've been to that you have that kind of access. What I liked about X Club is they had that little cocktail area
Yep.
that even though you may have had to dress down or change your circumstance, created a nice segue, and it was less noisy back there that you could have a conversation. It was an easy segue to play
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
I think that's an important part to note about that too, is that a lot of these spaces, they're doing the best they can with what they have. And so we can talk about these, and I could share like some of my favorite clubs around the world, but oftentimes they've got a larger footprint, which means they have the ability to have like, a wet area and a this and a that and that's all well and good. But if you've got a
Sauna.
smaller club, like sometimes you just can't have all of those really like amazing opportunities, which kind of sucks.
Yes.
I'm just saying everybody should come to the Netherlands.
I agree.
I would like to come in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Well, what's one of your pros and cons of clubs, Mickey?
Okay, so two things. First of all, the Mermaid Lounge is the area you're talking about at the X Club. It's the new name for it, and it's the pool. They have the Mermaid Lounge and with the pool, for those of you that don't know. And yes, I'm promoting my friend Jake's new Mermaid Lounge.
I do feel corrected though.
Oh, no. I'm not correcting you. I just want people to know that when you see people talk about the Mermaid Lounge, or if you see X and an M, they're talking about X Club and the Mermaid Lounge. And I only think it's important because I love how much thought and care that X Club has put into that, and I want to celebrate them for it. So something that's happened twice at clubs that almost bothered me a little bit when it used to happen. It happens less today than it used to. We don't obviously go to clubs because we've lived in Orlando and stopped going to clubs about 6 years ago. But one of the things I didn't like is that people would say the music's too loud to bother with consent. I can't hear, so I'm not going to ask. And that happened twice, and I saw it happening with Mallory where people were getting really close, or I could see them commiserating with other people about what they were going to do. And I actually injected myself for that because of my hearing disability, I read lips, so I don't care how loud the music is. When you said it, I heard it if I'm looking at you. And I've saw it happen twice, and I was able to inject myself in that space and say, actually, that's not okay, and we're not going to do that because for these reasons. So I think clubs are fairly unique, although it does happen at lifestyle resorts as well, which we're going to get to here in a minute. But I think that when the music is really loud, sometimes consent takes a back seat.
Okay.
And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with you twice. There's a couple friend of ours that live in Canada that I was present when it happened, and I injected myself when it happened and said, hey, that's not okay. And he's like, oh, I didn't hear her. Well, that's funny. I'm deaf and I fucking heard her, bro. So I think that clubs sometimes, because of the exciting party atmosphere, that can be a con because it can be a little overwhelming. The lights, the noise, and maybe it's easy to get carried away, number one, on the guy side or the girl side. Because, by the way, we do have female consent issues. It does happen. It happens at house parties. It happens at clubs. It happens at meet and greets. Consent issues happen all over the place. But they happen, and people look for active reasons to give themselves a pass. And that pass is usually, well, I couldn't hear, so I just figured I'd see what would happen. And you know what? The only thing to say when that happens is, I misunderstood. I did something wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And by the way, if you do that, you're going to have a great time at a club. Honestly, I don't care which club you go to. And I think there are some amazing clubs out there, but the other downside of clubs is it's expensive in the lifestyle. Real estate's expensive. Electricity's expensive. Rent's expensive.
So with clubs, how they work, typically speaking in the U.S., tell me if I'm wrong in, other countries, but you have a membership baseline depending on whether you're a single or a couple, and it's different for males and female singles. Usually males are double the couple's price. Single females are half or a quarter of the couple's price because they want to encourage a certain range. Sometimes singles are limited in the nights that they can come, and it's 3 digits to get through the door as a couple from a membership. And then on top of the membership, you still have to pay to get into whatever party is happening that night. And then on top of that,
pay for a room,
depending on their possibly a room, but just inside the club. So in some states it's BYOB, and then you pay for mixers and then tip the bar, or they have a full bar and then you pay for drinks all night. So you have to really amortize like how much you're spending over that experience as well.
Being a swinger ain't
Mhm.
cheap.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, the lifestyle is crazy expensive
Yeah,
anymore.
which a house party, for example, that we talked about may have a door fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's good reasons for it. There really are. I mean, hell, I'm staring right now at a bottle of booze that we used to pay, what, $35 for, and it's like $70 at most liquor stores right now.
Mhm.
Prices have gone up on everything. And if you're buying liquor for everybody, and let's say you anticipate people based on the number of sales you have, even for a house party, or whether you're a club or anything else, things are expensive. Insurance is expensive.
Usually house parties BYOB in my experience.
Usually. But also, insurance is expensive.
Do you think that higher price tag now, as we're stepping through these different, because we've said, okay, meet and mingles are pretty low pressure.
Mhm.
House
Also
parties,
the cheapest.
House parties, yep. So house parties can have a little bit of a price tag, probably still pretty reasonable
Mhm.
economically, but they might come with a potential down to fuck side. Now we're stepping into clubs. We're talking 3 figures. Do you think that with that 3 figures comes an inherent expectation of play? And do you think that
I
more
think-
people are down to fuck at a club or a house party?
I do
question.
think psychologically that does play a part for some people that go to clubs because the barrier to entry is now higher. You know, maybe this is the one night that they get out and they have that membership and they want to leverage it and utilize it and they pay to get in the party and they have an objective in mind.
Mhm.
And it is not uncommon to be at a club and watch a couple approach 5, 6, 8, 10 different couples to see who they're vibing with. If there's an opportunity there, it's kind of like speed dating.
Yep.
So, and at first I was really, I'll call myself out. I was almost put off by it at first because I didn't really understand the architecture and the expectation that came along with that. I'm not mad about it as long as they're not treating anyone with disrespect. I've come to not accept or tolerate, but it just happens in those environments, and it makes sense financially, psychologically, if that's their objective. And you're gonna have a wider breadth of people that have different expectations there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you two just touched on my absolute least favorite thing about everything we've talked about on this podcast so far. The timer.
Yep.
The timer is everyone's enemy because everything we've talked about so far is one night only.
Yeah.
A meet and greet, a club,
Yeah.
right? Everything short of a hotel takeover or a resort is on a timer. And the more you pay, the more dangerous the timer becomes.
Yeah, and you know what? To be fair, maybe at some point in my journey, I was more akin to that because it was new, nuanced. We had less opportunity.
Mhm.
So it's not that I don't understand it, and I don't necessarily dislike it. I will be the first one to tell them, I am not your girl. If you're looking to fuck tonight, it is a single digit percentage. I would be an anomaly. I'm happy to sit here and entertain you and like be your chum. But if your objective is to fuck tonight, I'll wingman for you. Like I don't know. Like
Which
it's
is
not
different
me.
than the way that we approach it. So we go to
Yeah.
clubs a decent amount
Mhm.
and we play at clubs a decent amount.
Mhm.
And so for us, that 4, 5, 6 hour time frame,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we would probably play on every second club visit that we go to, I would expect. So for us, like that time crunch
Uh-huh.
and playing in a club environment is actually pretty prevalent, I would say, more so than
Mhm.
couple dates these days.
Yep.
It used to be the opposite.
So why, since we're still talking about clubs, why do you think, and again, it could be a European thing, it could be a time thing, it could be just because you're so busy and you and Daryl both kind of travel the world individually
Mm-hmm.
these days. So maybe it's unique to you. But what is it about you that finds playing at a club easier than the connection style of maybe taking your time? Why is it better for you?
Honestly, it's a cultural thing too. So I think that in, say, for example, like the United States of America, or even like your party that you've just had, your community that you have here, people want that connection a little bit more. And they want to have time to foster those relationships, build community, build connection, and have some play. I think that the European style and European culture is more about having fun in the night. Also, I think if you couple that with my preference of spontaneity over perhaps scheduled play, that's probably some of the reasons. And yes, we travel and, whether we're home, whether we travel a lot and we visit cities and we go to new clubs in new cities. So I think that kind of all of those things combined, but definitely I think the European way is less about fostering communities, We went to a huge party in Belgium, I think just the weekend before I came here. And, even the chat, like that was hundreds and hundreds of people and the chat was dead. It's just a different way of approaching the lifestyle. So I think that it's cultural as well.
Interesting.
Mallory, can I ask a side quest question real quick? Because this is
Yeah.
a little bit off topic, but as a European, I've always kind of thought of this and I always forget to ask you. And I think this is like our 20th podcast together or something. We've done a fuck ton of shows together.
Back catalog.
Yeah, back catalog, right? But as a European, you guys have a different perspective on a lot of things universally and everything else. But this, whole idea of just kind of hooking up,
Yeah.
right, it just, for me, it's so foreign to me, and which is ironic because I'm American and you're European. Yeah, but it just feels to me like so transactional and so immediate and
Yeah. It's all those things.
yeah, and
You're not wrong.
yeah, and is something lost in translation with that?
Just different approach.
Yeah,
So when we first started the lifestyle over 10 years ago, we were very much we want to have pants on, pants off friends. We've said that 10 years ago in our podcast. These, and it's interesting how living in Singapore, living around the world has really changed the approach to that. And so I think that was our approach 10 years ago. Now, what I would say is if we lived somewhere here, I think our style would still be as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think living and traveling in the environments, we've adapted our style to suit that environment. I'm not saying one's better than the other or one's funner than the other, what have you, but I think that right now we kind of have a bit of a hybrid between the two, but spontaneity is definitely something that I've started to embrace. But at the moment, that's really one of the only ways we can be in the lifestyle.
I mean, is it straight up just give me that dick? You just
Can be.
Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, it's one of those things that for me, I struggle personally. I don't care how beautiful somebody is. I want to get to know them better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that I can make them feel safe before I make them feel like my toy. And if I can't do that, I don't feel like I deserve to be able to objectify them if I can't do
Yeah,
that
I think you would really, from just a test environment, actually like to go to a club over there. Yes, you might still engage and might mingle with people on the dance, you can dance with them, mingle, but that's very much the way that it's done. It's like you go into the club, you get a drink, maybe get something to eat, you'll mingle on the dance floor, you'll dance, and then it's very much do you want to go play? Or you go into the playroom, people are already playing, and then you ask them in the playroom when they're in the middle of play if you can join them. Like that's basically how it's done.
Interesting, because that's counter to the culture of etiquette that it is in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because you'll see it. It's almost like black and white in most of their rules. Like, ask first.
Yeah.
And don't interrupt or don't inject unless X, Y, or Z. It's a group room or the door is open.
Yeah.
My point is actually though that I just don't know if I could make that flip. So what I tend to do when I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do, is I go into like entertainer mode.
Yes.
And I just start like telling jokes and holding court and doing all these things that pretty much cockblock myself so I don't have to worry about doing it wrong.
I actually would argue
I
that
know how to entertain.
Being that charismatic individual, especially as a male in a club, will actually get you more noticed than being the hottest guy in the room. I think that women gravitate. The amount of times I've looked over at Daryl and he's holding court to like 6 women.
Yeah.
Is
that
ridiculous.
never happens to me though. So Daryl's got something I don't.
That's not true. It does happen to you, where I think you might. I don't want to say struggle, but I'll use that word because I don't have a better one. But I'll use air quotes around it because it's not the exact one I want to use. The transition. So now you have their attention. Now you have the potential opportunity. What I don't see you do a lot of is transition that to a potential opportunity. Make that segue. I think you kind of wait for them because you don't want to be offensive and you don't want to overstep. And what a girl really needs is for you to go, hey, I'm interested.
So let me tell you something that every nice guy will never tell you. If I never ask, you can't tell me no.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I
It's
wasn't
that
going to call
simple.
you out on that. No one wants to be rejected. But
Yeah, if I never ask,
yeah.
you can't say no.
Before I know
And-
we're going to move on in a second, though. I just want to say something really quickly about clubs before we move on.
Please, that's exactly why we're fucking here, actually.
There
So-
are different events at clubs as well. So we've spoken a little bit about if you're more a DTF, find a house party that's going to be more suited to your style, more DTF. If you want to be more social, find a house party that's more, social. Clubs can be very different too. Like, for
Yes.
example, the club in Amsterdam, there are a few nights a month where they've got the sexpert night is what they call it, and they got the gigolos night. And those events specifically, immediate dress down, play as expected. So we went to one recently and it was definitely a heightened, more DTF vibe in there than we've seen before, and which is saying something considering it's at a European club as well. So I think that even within clubs, there's different nights, different expectations, and that's important to understand because if you are going and you are a DTF couple, go to the DTF nights. If you're more social, maybe find one of the newbie nights or a different kind of theme night or something that's going to suit your vibe.
feel
And there's no shame in asking questions.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. So which I'm about to do. What the fuck is a sexpert and a gigolo?
So this expert night is basically that you're a little bit more experienced in the lifestyle and you are interested in play. So it's less about mingling and meeting people. And then that still happens, but it's certainly people go in there with there's going to be more play on the table. So when you look at like by and large, if there was 100 people at that event or 100 people at the next, there's probably going to be 80 people playing, at least 90 people playing at that particular club.
So Caligula just everywhere.
Yeah, it's called a sexpert night because, it's supposed to be that you're a little bit more experienced in the lifestyle. Like you're going to come in, you're here for a good time. We all know why we're here to fuck. The Gigolo night is more about single men. So they have a bunch of different single men that they're vetted. And they're basically kind of pay to play, but the club pays them and they're roaming around. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. So much like your schedule, we call those gigolos.
Okay, right, yeah.
I'm calling it gigolo from evermore.
Oh, you know what? Every time I hear it, I'm just going to start laughing. I'm a
Yeah,
gigolo.
there was a movie
Yeah.
back in the day with Rob Schneider. It was called Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that
But,
movie, I think, actually. Yeah.
Gigolo.
Yeah, they're gigolos now. I wasn't sure if maybe it was something like totally European because we have visited you in Europe and I looked around and I felt like a country mouse. I felt like I didn't know shit about anything. I followed you everywhere, rode my bike behind you to make sure, that I didn't like get run over.
Yeah.
Still got run over by Dutch people, but whatever.
Hey, that was me, man.
Hey, it was a good time. So
I know how to say "go fuck yourself" in Dutch now.
Yeah, because someone said it to you.
Hey, so is the next point or event style? Is it a hotel takeover?
That is
we're
right.
talking about
And
next?
this
Yeah.
is where we're abandoning the thing that I don't like, which is the timer. Because when a hotel takeover, you got more time.
Unless it's a one-nighter.
Yeah, there are
Fuck me.
one-nighters. They're very rare these days,
Rare.
though. Extremely rare. I think that's where we started, the 1 to 2 nighters, and the 2 nighters were kind of the anomaly. And now it's 2 to 3 nights is the commonplace that we're seeing.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of
Yeah.
like at least our house party was a 3-day banger. 3-day house parties are rare.
Well, we
by the
did
way.
that intentionally. I mean, obviously, this is a little more curated group, but we wanted to have a narrative. Like Friday night was the mingle night, Saturday night was the party, and transition to brown chicken, brown cow.
Yeah,
And
our
then
playroom had
Sunday-
so many people in it.
Sunday was I don't even know how to explain it. But hotel takeovers, you're right. It does decrease the pressure situation, but the barrier to entry is
I was
much higher.
just about to say that.
much
We've
higher.
started now going price. Yeah.
Yeah,
three
price is
to
going up.
4 digits there.
Exactly.
Just to get in the
Pay to
door.
play.
All right.
Yep.
I don't know a single person on this planet that knows more about hotel takeovers than your Aussie ass.
Mhm.
So, what in the hell is the reason? So, I'm going to give you something to talk about in particular. Why would I choose a takeover over just going to a gigolo night and getting
Yeah.
fucked?
Again, it depends on what you're after. So even within the hotel takeover realm, there are hotel takeovers that are definitely designed for more of the DTF crowd. There are hotel takeovers that are more designed to drugs and EDM. There are hotel takeovers that are more designed for about community, education. So even within the hotel takeover space, you can definitely find what you're interested in. So regardless of what you want, like go and look for it and you'll be able to absolutely find something that's going to suit
now
you.
the other side of that is you may have to travel further also to get to it, because also we didn't talk about the geography, but when you talk about house parties and meet and greets, regionally that could be a lot closer to where you already exist.
Right.
Then you talk about clubs and you may be extending that geography, and now the hotel takeovers could be even more of an
Further.
extension. So now you're talking about travel potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
as that price goes up, I think the environment, at least the expectational quality of the environment goes up. So, for example, a house party might be a trailer park somewhere in fuck all Central Florida, but a hotel takeover, or let's say a meet and greet, is at least at a bar. A house party could be fucking anywhere. A hotel takeover could be any kind of hotel. We went to one that was at this old like Rosen in Richmond, Virginia. Do you remember what an absolute shithole that
Oh
hotel
my God,
was.
it was actually my first hotel takeover,
Yes.
and it scared me so much because the whole part of the hotel was in such disrepair and it wasn't cordoned off. And we're walking through this hallway to get to the elevators, and there's exposed wiring
Hmm.
and drop ceiling tiles that were missing, obvious construction debris everywhere. And
And
it
there were
was,
guests that were not part of the takeover
yes,
in
there
the
were,
hotel with us, and we were
yes,
standing there dressed for the takeover.
yes, there were normies and not normies
Hmm.
running
And
around
there
there.
was a large woman dressed as Harley
Harley
Quinn,
Quinn that
hitting me with her
hit your
hammer
hammer.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
It was
It's the
one.
first time I almost got in a fight in a lifestyle.
It was just one of those things where it actually turned us off from hotel takeovers until we met you.
Yeah.
Until we met you, we thought that's what hotel takeovers were, and I think that's something I want to caution every single person, both of you that are listening to the show right now. Just because you had a bad experience the first time, or the second time, or the 90th time, doesn't mean you will next time.
I
Right?
don't know. The third time
Experiences
I'm probably
vary.
done.
No, but I'm just saying
Just
experiences
kidding.
vary. I'm not saying in a row.
Yeah.
I'm saying that you never necessarily, it only takes one great connection at anything
Yeah.
to change your stars. One great connection, a friend, a hookup, an orgasm, a blowjob,
Or
whatever.
the environment too.
Yeah, the environment.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what the fuck it is you choose to do. If you have one great experience, it changes everything. And I think that's what I love about Libertines, what I love about what you do, is you focus on creating spaces and experiences.
Yeah. I mean, when we first started talking about hotel takeovers, I did many, many years ago, I did a little I don't know, TikTok video or something. And it was like the 5 types of events at hotels. And they can be suite parties, they can be floor takeovers, they could be a tower takeover, whole hotel takeover. What I would say about this space is I personally find it too risky to go to any of the events at a hotel that aren't a full takeover because of some of the problems that you guys just spoken about.
Yeah.
What happens though is, yes, there's a price tag now involved because now there's security costs and it just goes, it increases exponentially. So I do enjoy a takeover. To your point though, yes, longer period of time, but higher cost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
So
one of the things you touched on earlier, Mallory, and one of the reasons I absolutely love you in this space is personal responsibility does matter. You do have to take accountability for yourself. You do have to recognize that in these cases, in these spaces, not everything is going to be perfectly controlled no matter what you do. We were in New Orleans for the largest swinger gathering that I know of that is not on a boat, anywhere in America anyway, a few years ago. And I engaged with someone with a phone videoing with their children in tow in the lobby, videoing naked people and people in lingerie. And there were security and police standing all around us. I'm like, how the fuck does this human get in here? And I'm the one that dealt with it because I chose to. So it doesn't matter whether you're at a hotel takeover or a large event that's multiple hotels. You still kind of have to look out for yourself a little bit. Right? There's personal responsibility matters, is what I'm saying. And
Yeah. I was saying in regards to like questioning and doing your research, and sometimes we get so excited about the ideal of the event, we forget to invest in exactly what the explanation is.
Mhm.
So we create this narrative that may or may not be real. So I would definitely look into the details, and if they're not fully provided, that could actually be a red flag. Either somebody from an inexperienced level, maybe
Yeah.
the person putting on doesn't really know what they're doing, or
I agree.
yeah.
I would say that a red flag is if they say it's for everybody. If you were to email me right now and say like, hey, this is, I'm new, whatever, should I come to your event? If my canned response is absolutely, red flag. I go back as the event organizer and I question again, well, what kind of lifestyle person are you?
Right, because
I
we
love
do want to
that.
set them up for success.
Yeah, and
because if
I
it's
don't-
not a
yeah.
match, my feelings will never be hurt if what I'm putting on,
No.
it does not meet what you need or want in your life. You are absolutely entitled to seek out what you want.
Yep. So if you do have questions, reach out to the event organizer, ask those questions. If the response is, we have the best party on the planet, that to me would be a red flag because not everything is going to suit every person's journey in the lifestyle and what they're looking for. Because again, if you want to come and take a shit ton of hallucinogenics and listen to EDM or whatever, like my parties aren't for you, probably
Yeah.
go somewhere else.
yeah.
If you want to,
I've done both of those things at your party. I had a
If you
great
wanna-
time. So I'm just playing.
yeah, if you wanting to take a lot of content photos or like face photos or content by the pool, my parties probably aren't for you
I
because
agree.
we have rules against that. So I think there is something out there, but yeah, I would say question it. But there is definitely a higher cost associated with attending a hotel takeover.
Well, and another part of that, holding yourself accountable, is asking yourself, what do I want?
100%.
Because some people actually don't know they get there and they're like, not my bag, not really having fun, but also don't know what I'm looking for.
Yep.
And especially when you're newer, that's actually pretty normal.
Yep.
you
I think a
know?
great question to ask your partner right before any event, what are you hoping to get out of this? What would be, if you walked away, like what's your ultimate, that was an amazing experience, that was an amazing journey, I learned something new. What does that look like? And then try to be the wing person for your partner, but actually setting those expectations is huge before any event.
It really is. And you remember we did a show with Kate fairly recently, actually, like last month or the month before or something.
In Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things I said, and I'll say this again, have that conversation, but don't get married to the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't get married to it, because if you walk in there and say, this is the only way I'm going to leave this place feeling like I got my money's worth, or it was worth our time or the trip or whatever, because listen, shit happens. Hotel takeovers, if you fly to get there, you could lose your baggage. You could wreck your rental car. You could shit your pants on the dance floor. Yeah, that actually happened to somebody. Not me, though, just so you know. But these things happen. And don't get married to the idea. Get married to maybe the goal together, that we're going to look for the same thing. That's a great idea. But to say that this is the only way, that's where things get dangerous. And I don't give a shit whether it's a meet and greet or a house party or a hotel takeover or what we're going to get into next, which is resort takeovers, which are hotel takeovers on fucking steroids, right?
Yeah, that's a 4-digit at a minimum barrier of entry.
Big
and a
investment.
Bigger investment, bigger accountability.
Yeah.
And
For both sides, by the
Yeah.
organizer, because the
Yeah.
organizers have higher expectations
Mm-hmm.
of themselves, right? The people expect more of you. Like if you tell people, come see us for 7 days and we're going to change your life and we're going to charge you a shit ton of money, and then they show up and go, hey, have fun. We'll see you guys when you're done. Have fun storming the castle. No, that's you're not going to be very popular very long.
I think definitely the pros, again, we're now talking in an even potentially longer length of time.
Yeah, so
if
timers even better.
Yeah, if you are somebody who needs a little bit of a larger, longer warm up, that's where this is great for you. But I would also actually argue, if you are a DTF couple and you are looking on higher return on investment on your money, a longer length of time could also potentially mean more play too. So I think there is space for people that are down to fuck going to a longer takeover and then
Yeah.
possibly engaging in more play.
we have absolutely met people on a resort that it is their first anything, first lifestyle, first whatever. And that does blow my mind a little bit, but also I can absolutely see why they have chosen that route.
Yeah.
They're giving themselves a little bit longer runway,
Mm-hmm.
more opportunity. They've also made space and went more often than not when we've had those conversations, which I thought was really, really great on their part. That they're like, the baseline for us is this. We're going to try. We're still here with our favorite person. So everything's going to work out well for us, but also we're still seeking A, B, and C.
Yeah.
They're more often than not on the same page because that barrier to entry is so high
Yeah.
that you almost have to be.
Yeah.
Now, I want to play devil's advocate and do a con to that. I think that it is very easy to have so much social fun at a resort takeover.
That you forget to fuck?
You forget to fuck.
Kate, that's the third
We
time you
don't
said
know
this to me
anybody
in
like
2
that.
days. Why is
We don't
everybody
know.
saying this to me lately?
So I think that is definitely a con of that long length of time, is that you think you have a lot of time and then you get to the end, you're like, God fucking damn it, which is why everyone turns into savage raccoons on the last night, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, damn it.
Oh yeah, by the last third of the week.
Yeah.
We have 2 types, right? Because it came like Wednesday, Thursday on a week-long takeover. You get the savage raccoons, and then you get the people that look like they're basically coming dust at this point because they have been taking advantage.
Yeah, they front loaded.
Yeah. No, they unloaded. I mean, they just got rid of all of it. But so I have a question, Kate, and you've done some resort takeovers, you've done hotel takeovers, you've been to our resort takeovers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most common questions we get, and we do host a resort takeover, we call it Casual Swinger Week, casualswingerweek.com. You can find it anywhere. Okay, anyway, sorry. Shameless plug. Anyway, the reason I bring that up, the number one question we get is, what's the average age of your group? And it drives me
Yeah.
fucking nuts, okay?
Yeah, it's That's hard, isn't it?
I mean, I actually do know that data. Like I know about that
Mm-hmm.
for my hotel takeovers because I do get asked it a lot. It is a hard one to answer though because I mean, what are you trying to achieve with that question? Are you trying to assume that somebody younger is perhaps more energetic? Are you trying to assume that somebody younger maybe has less barriers and less care factor and therefore are more down to fuck because they're hitting that age where they're like got to crack it in before they cark it? Like what is your intention with that question? That
Yeah.
is what I always like to respond back with.
Do you think as they equate like fun and sexy with age and youth? Do you think that's a big part of it?
I think it can be, but as I
Yeah.
said, I've also had people that think, okay, if I'm 60 and 70, they don't really care who they fuck, so they're more down to fuck. And so they're looking for that
Interesting, okay.
element. I think there is something to be said about having people around you that might understand your pop culture references, and so that is relevant, but that's more relevant for a social conversation. I want to know that you understand what Clapton Planet is. Like, I want to have that kind of camaraderie with you.
I do.
Yeah.
Damn
See?
it.
So I think,
have a mic in your face.
age can be, that's why people are trying to ask that question. It can be either because of the sexiness element, the play element, music element, or it could be to do with, I want to make sure that I can talk to people there and they know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I think those are all good reasons to bring up age. I really do. I feel like they're all valuable, like age-oriented things. But I think the reason that most of them, and I get it a lot, right? Because I answer a lot of our social media and stuff like that, at least from the casual swinger perspective, not from the Mrs. Milford perspective. But on the casual swinger side, when I get it, they're just saying, hey, I'm more curious. Sometimes it's about the music.
Yeah, it can be.
Like, hey, we're kind of EDM fans. What I tell them is, hey, I play for everybody. So we're going to do different nights. We're going to do a lot of different things. And maybe I'm going to take some music that somebody from an older generation might like and mix it up and mash it up and make it something you'll like. I promise. Give me a second. But what I'm really seeing is people don't want to get hit on by their grandparents, right? And that's where groups like HSB, which is fucking awesome, by the way, they have a 45-year-old age cap, but it's a soft cap, right? It's kind of so. But those kind of things, I think, are great. I think they're amazing. I think that they have a space and they should, but I don't think that we should silo everybody into age groups because, like you said, it doesn't make you more energetic. It doesn't make you hotter. It doesn't make you better. And frankly, I think a lot of your experienced sexperts, to use your parlance, don't want to be with a bunch of fucking newbies sometimes.
Because it's their kink and they do. Like, it can go either way.
It could go either way.
It really can. And I think it depends every year. I think the reason they ask does change. Like, if you had to take a consensus of everyone that asked that question, one year it's going to be in one camp and the next year it's going to be another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think there's I think that question never gets an answer that's universally good because you don't necessarily know why they're asking. So I love your response. Why do you want to know?
Yes. And I think that with full resort takeovers, I think that the benefit of that, net benefit generally, is that it's population, right? So if you've got 600 people at your takeover and say that person's asking because they're quite young, let's call them 26, right? They're probably going to want to have a younger people there because they were like, okay, we want to be able to, again, talk to people of our similar age bracket. If you got 600 people there and you look at, like, by and large, the bell curve, there's probably going to be 20% of people that are in their age bracket. So
yeah,
that's a higher possibility versus, like, somewhere with only 20 people, maybe there's, like, one couple there.
Right. And, you almost can't, in some ways, can't blame them for asking that question, especially if they're coming from that perspective, because they want to know at some point they're going to relate to somebody else. Maybe they have young kids. Maybe they're non-breeders. Maybe they don't have any kids and they're at a different point in their life. And it does create a little bit of a disparity and deficit in the ability to connect with somebody else. So,
yeah, I think hotel takeovers have a unique space there. So let me give you a good example. There's a group out of Chicago called Young Couples Parties. Young Couples Parties, they're fucking awesome. They do such a good job. It was formerly owned by the people that own shamelesscare.com. And it was sold a couple years ago to a couple that we're great with. We think they're amazing. We love what they do. But there's an age limit to who can go. Now, that does solve some problems for them, right? I mean, especially for the DJ, it solves a shitload of problems because they don't have to worry about going in there going, I need to play some Steely Dan tonight, right? I can go ahead and play, Sophie Tucker. I can play, whatever. I can play David Guetta. I can play whatever. I can play a lot of stuff that these guys are going to like. It lets you know at least what kind of vibe you can set because you kind of get an idea of what you're going to have. But you also do get more drama because they're younger and maybe sometimes they aren't as experienced. So you remember we talked about throwing events and the crying girl in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
The younger couple events or those kinds of things. You see it.
Yeah.
You do. Now, at hotel takeovers, we still get it. It's just 42-year-old people crying in the
Yeah,
hallway
you get it at
instead of
resort
20.
takeovers as well. I mean, Mallory, what do you think is like a pro and a con to a resort takeover?
So for me, the pro is having every available opportunity, whether that's a platonic friendship, to play, to maybe a hot wifing experience, to whatever. It almost feels like a buffet of circumstances that I can have the availability to. So that's a pro for me. The con is that if this is my first time and I'm struggling from a social perspective, it's going to be really hard, even as a DTF person, to enjoy myself. And now I have all of this time ahead of me that maybe is not my bag. And
It's an
I've
extended
gambled.
misery.
I've gambled and rolled the dice, and now my commitment level is really high.
So how do you
So-
find out with a resort takeover? How do you find out? Like, do you talk to people that have been there before? Is that the idea? I mean, how do we educate people to let them know this is something that they might actually really enjoy? Especially, I mean, hell, your average complete resort takeover now, even for low-end rooms, even at Desire, they're spending $3,500 to $5,000.
It's easy, 4 digits. This is thousands of
Yes.
dollars barrier of entry. So I would be very discerning. I would ask all the questions. I would do the research. I would ask the organizers. I would ask other attendees. I would ask the actual resort itself. That's what I did.
Yeah,
And I even read books on it.
yeah,
Like it took me what, 2 years
it did.
to be like, I want to do this.
Boy, but let me tell you what happened,
Yeah.
right?
Hey now.
Yeah, but so when do you roll the dice? Kate, you've been to resort takeovers. What made you choose one over another?
We just wanted to choose everything. I think we've now actually been to most. I mean, there are some that we haven't actually been to, some smaller ones in Spain and stuff like that. But I mean, we've been to both Desires. We've been to Hedonism. We've done Carp. We've done Gran Canaria. We've done a lot of different resorts. And I think that when we first started researching which ones to go to, we just wanted to experience them all. So there wasn't really a, let's go to this week, this, we just wanted to try and experience them all so then we could pick and choose, okay, what do we like? I think with places, if we were to look now, or, if today was 10 years ago when we first started looking, I think there's a lot more information and groups available now that we just weren't aware of back then. So we just turned up because that was when we had time off work. We just turned up. That was when we went.
Mhm.
Now I think what we would do is, to your earlier point, look at the information available. Because again, there is groups that is, I think, like bearded, tattooed old men with hot, young 20-year-old girls.
Oh,
There's
wait.
like,
Hold on. There is literally a group that goes to Hito, and they're actually lovely human beings, but they tell you exactly who they are. They're fat guys with hot chicks.
Old
Great.
fat guys with hot
Old
chicks.
fat guys with hot chicks.
Great.
And I love them for it. They're
They're
like
great.
literally advertising exactly what you can expect.
100%.
They're great. They're super nice too, by the way.
So to your point, like, how do you know, what would you look for? I would look for that. What is the website saying? What is the information available? Start with the group name, for Christ's sake. I mean, that you just gave that perfect example.
Yeah.
Group name. What is their description? What are they offering on the trip that you resonate with? Because you want to make sure, to your point, that you're going to get something that matches your
Yeah.
Well,
vibe.
Yep.
Now
And
you're making me feel really bad because I told the story during our house party over the weekend. People said they asked how we got the name Casual Swinger, which I don't think we've ever actually told that story in the air. And I was behind the bar over here, which I'm staring at right now, by the way. And I was like, well, because Terrible Swingers was fucking taken, I was looking for domain names. That is literally how we came about our name, is a domain name search, because I knew what I wanted to say, which was that we were not necessarily chasing sex. We were chasing something. We're chasing sex and something else, right? Sex and something else.
Mhm.
And that for us, it was a really difficult thing to do. So I think some groups, you get your old fat guys with hot chicks, and you have Playful Pussycats is another one that goes to Hito that does
There's like
Frank
there was
and
like
they
a
do a fucking
tattooed-
great job.
Tattooed guys and
Tats
yoga.
and pearls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tats and Pearls, they're fucking great too.
Yeah.
Those guys are a blast. But that's just the thing. You can still have a good time, but it depends if you go in expecting one thing and you don't get it.
Right.
It doesn't matter what they called it.
Yeah. It's not the universal responsibility to fulfill your needs.
Exactly. And just because they said it's young, hot, and wicked, and you get there and everybody's 72, well, let me tell you something. Mallory and I walked an 83-year-old couple through their first life selection, not with us, But their first lifestyle experience, they approached us. We talked about it. We talked about how to approach it. And they come to us the next day, and they were the happiest people I've ever met in my life. But they had the same questions that 23-year-old couples have. Very same fears, very same issues. Everything was the same. They were 83 the first time they ever swung. It was a hedonism. And Mallory and I parented that shit. And we both looked at each other like, this is our life. This is what we do.
It was interesting.
It was trippy. Hey, guys, this has been a blast. We just did an hour and a half with you because we haven't done a fucking podcast in a month. So you got a bonus because you got Kate. So since you had an extra person, you got an extra 33%.
And if you buy now, you'll get steak knives for free or whatever.
But wait, there's more.
Here's your car extended warranty.
Billy Mays here for OxyClean and CasualSwingerWeek.com.
No, do not put those two together, please.
No, I'm sorry.
He was
Billy Mays loved cocaine, though. That was a...
Anyway.
Hey,
Another reason why you can't run for office.
Kate, you know more about the takeover space and the worldwide swinger space than anybody I know. So let's, before Mal gets into how the hell we got here, tell people how to find you. More importantly, how to find Libertine Events, because it's our favorite fucking hotel takeover anywhere. Tell them about the ones you have coming up next.
Okay, well, you can find me on wanderlustswingers.com. I do actually have an events page there where I list a bunch of other events, not just my events, but I actually have Casual Swing Week there. I've got our friends over at Be Better Being Bad Week. I've got a bunch of different things, so you can find that at wanderlustswingers.com. Or if you head to libertineevents.com, you can find out our events there. We are heading out to San Antonio in October this year, and we have Miami and Scottsdale lined up for 2026, as well as France and Southern Italy, and we're doing all the things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, after October, you have to let me know if everything's bigger in Texas.
Actually, didn't we make
You know
that
it
video
is,
once?
girl.
We did.
We did make that video once. I literally named it everything.
Yeah,
I
you
just
did.
want to know if there's a consensus. That's all.
A consensus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Consensus.
Oh, consensus. Okay, there we go. Well, look, hey, we're going to be in Scottsdale, and we're going to be in Miami.
Well, you
So
told me you were coming to France, too, so I don't know.
I guess we're coming to fucking France,
Well,
too.
I'm coming to France as a guest.
You know what? But you know what?
I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
There might be some people out there, Mallory, some people might actually just want to party with us. They might just going to get fucked up and hang out.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Imagine
In
that.
France with Libertine Events.
That would be amazing.
You want to tell people where to find us and we get the hell out of here?
Sure. We are Casual Swinger everywhere. You can find us at casualswinger.com. If you'd like to join us at Hedonism 2 in March 14th through the 21st, go to casualswingerweek.com or email us at podcast@casualswinger. We are also on Instagram, YouTube, and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And you can find us on STCSLS and Cassidy.
There it is. My girl's still good at that shit after all this time. Apparently not as long as I thought it was, but we'll be back sometime after this. I don't know fucking when, but we will. Trust us or don't. Love y'all. We'll see you. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
Bye.